What's up guys, I'm Random Frank P. Bit of a different style of a tech video today. Usually it's tech under 50 like we did yesterday, but today I'll be showcasing some of my personal favorite tech items that I've been using and have been loving. So some of my favorite tech pickups recently. If you guys see anything you like, I'm going to have them all listed for you in the description down below so you can check them out. And if you want to get tech that you love starting at $1, you can thanks to today's episode sponsor, Whatnot. Whatnot's an online social marketplace where you can discover some of your favorite products, like sports cards, Pokemon cards, retro collectibles, all different tech and electronics, with these live auctions kicking off in real time. If you stopped by our tech streams in the past, you know they're always a good time. We auction off all sorts of tech you see on the channel and PC components, headsets, mice, keyboards, you name it, everything starting at just $1. So speaking of which, next Friday, September 12th at 8 p.m. Eastern, I'll be live right on the Whatnot app. You can get some tech for a steal, and I'll be giving away a free Switch 2. Now to change it up a bit to give you guys better odds, instead of leaving the giveaway open to everybody where thousands of people can enter, we're gonna have it be a buyer's appreciation giveaway where if you buy something during the stream, you'll automatically be entered to win. So instead of, like I said, around 1,000 people entering, it'll probably be less than 100. So your odds are really good. Sign up with my link down below in the description. You also get $15 off your first purchase, or scan the QR code. But yeah, definitely hope to see you there. Always a fun stream. Now starting off the episode is a modern blend of like a retro Spotify in a way. So recently I got back all my childhood like games and CDs and realized, well, I don't have a way to play them anymore. So I looked around for a bit online and I wanted something that I could still utilize in the studio. That's when I came across the CP1, which is a perfect blend of sleek and modern for something that's now considered retro. Now, while it does have a headphone jack up top, it's Bluetooth. So you have the playback controls lining the backside, and you compare this to any Bluetooth playback devices like desktop speakers or bookshelf speakers, anything like that. Again, I wanted this to seamlessly blend into the studio, and I think it's just perfect. Sure, obviously YouTube and Spotify exist, but there's still something about physical media that's so refreshing and fun now to revisit. So the fact that I can wirelessly play my stack of CDs in my studio has been a nice change up. And design-wise, I really dig the way it's made. Nice and compact, very minimal, and that clear acrylic window to see the disc on the inside is a nice little touch. But there's actually an additional little design choice they made that really elevates it in my opinion. So again, with that clear window, there's actually a second removable acrylic sleeve on the inside. And this is so you can use that little booklet that comes with the CDs inside the CP1 to show off the cover art. So now when you're limping with the biscuit, you can use that clear removable insert, slide it into the top side of the lid, and show off whatever album you're listening to. Again, just hammering the point home of being a modern way to play these CDs, and now visually kind of looks like a physical Spotify player. I know it's not going to be for everyone, admittedly. I'm sure many of you out there have never even owned a CD, but since this episode is, my favorite tech that I've picked up recently, still wanted to show it off because I know I've got a sweet spot for physical media, and it's been really cool to finally get back my childhood belongings, and now I have a way that I can play them while being an accent piece to my setup at the same time. Now, I will admit the price of around $170 for this is a bit too much. Again, this isn't cool tech under 100 or cool tech under 50. I do think the price is more than it could be, but for my use case and what I needed it for, a modern way to blend into the studio aesthetically and play my CDs, it's been perfect, and I really do love it. Moving on, this one's been a really cool gadget that I've been using for close to a year now, and that's with the super compact but powerful studio light from Godox. The ML100R, which is a fully capable light source boasting up to 12,900 lux, has full RGB lighting and your dedicated bi-lighting with pure white color tones, and has a 95 CRI rating for color accuracy. Something like this versus those massive and bulky lights that I also have in use from Aperture is a really nice change up because I have so much more flexibility now on where I can put this for getting a specific shot since it's so small and portable. It's been a great piece to add to my filming gear and has helped out a ton in situations where I can't fit or even move a full 120D light. On the back, you can adjust the brightness and color temperature on the fly with the dial, adjust the green and magenta tint even. There's lighting effects and different speeds, saturation controls, everything is easily done right on the little screen there with the dial. However, it also has built-in Bluetooth to pair with their app, so I can completely control the light wirelessly from my phone. This is going to be particularly useful if I'm filming, A-roll for a scene, don't want to keep getting up to adjust the lighting. I can just stay in frame by the monitor to adjust it while keeping an eye on how it's going to look in camera. And speaking of which, that's been one of my main use cases since I picked this up, is just for adding additional accent lighting to the shot. Most recent example, just to give you guys an idea, was in the A-roll of my Black Shark headset review. I had the light on the table right behind me off the frame, had it set to 100% blue lighting, just to provide some extra color and depth to the voiceover, and this adds more visually to the scene as well. Another simple but effective use for me has been when I'm filming my main desk setup. I bounce this off the ceiling above my desk to act as a spill light that completely lights it up. So you can see how dim it looks with no lighting. And then with it on, just aimed up, gives a more natural looking shot when filming instead of just blasting the light straight down that would give, harsh shadows. But it's still bright enough for me to still indirectly light my scene evenly. So this comes in right around $200 for the whole kit, accessories, and carrying case, which really isn't too bad, again, given how portable this is, and some lights with these capabilities are like $400 and up, so definitely a cool pickup for me. Now, over to another one of my favorite pickups recently. I know keyboard content isn't popping off like it's 2020 anymore, but I'm still keeping an eye on new releases, and this is one that's going to compete directly with the Wooting 80 HE. This is the EZ80 from iQunix, who has just been putting out banger after banger lately, one of my favorite keyboard brands, and this one is just killer. So this version is their special edition EZ80 Darkside RS, with the all-black TKL body in solid aluminum, gasket mounted, and features exclusive frosted PC keycaps with the front side printed characters to maintain that super clean and stealthy look. What's also exclusive to these keyboards are their Magnetic X Ultra switches, which are developed in-house for these boards to give better precision and performance, as the board delivers 0.005mm rapid trigger sensitivity in addition to the 0.18 millisecond latency at 8K Hz polling. The Hall effect switches are nice and smooth, feels really great to type on, and are made pretty much with esports in mind, given those crazy specs. So it all comes together to be one of the best gaming keyboards on the market, really. Plus, another bonus is their web-based configurator, no software needed, so switches and lighting can all be adjusted in your browser then saved onto the board. I personally just keep the RGB solid in that emerald color, which is ironically the way they show it off in all their promo imaging, and it just fits my aesthetic and setup, as you know. And visually, with the way it's designed, I think it looks really cool. It's super hefty with it being a solid aluminum block, but the way they have the F-row and the arrow cluster broken up into its own segment, so it kind of looks like a modular transformer type thing. I don't know, it follows the same design language from their EZ60, the EZ65, so I just really dig that. And obviously, if it didn't perform well, or wasn't nice and smooth to use, I wouldn't be maining this as my daily keyboard. But these Magnetic X Ultra switches are crazy smooth, and combined with those insane speeds and that 0.005mm rapid trigger sensitivity, it's why would I not use this? If you remember a few years ago, iQunix beat Wooting at Computex for their latency ratings. That at the time was their EZ60, so this better and faster than that model. Now again, this is not a dedicated review, just showing off some of my favorite tech that I've been picking up recently, but I definitely recommend checking out the listing for some more in-depth specs and info about it. It's hard for me to be, blown away anymore by a keyboard, but iQunix just consistently delivers, and this hasn't left my desk in about 4 months since I picked this up back in April. It's also been on sale for around $288, which puts this right in line with the Zinc Alloy Wooting 80 HE at $289. Now next up's one of my favorite desktop gadgets of the year probably, with the new CORSAIR XENEON Edge, which is a 14.5 touchscreen made entirely for your gaming setup and has some really cool and useful widgets to not only act as just a second monitor, but for controlling your setup as well. It comes with its own magnetic stand and just connects to your PC via USB-C and HDMI, so one for power, one for signal. The removable stand helps out by keeping it, obviously angled up towards you, but also has the cutout here so you can route the cables out the backside efficiently without, any interference. So at 14.5 inches, coming in at 2560 by 720p at 60 Hz, the XENEON Edge lets you keep an eye on your PC temps, launch your most used apps or games, watch videos or streams natively, keep it as a web browser, has a full built-in sound mixer for your output devices, really making this like a centralized hub in a way for your setup and just your day-to-day workflow. It also perfectly spans the width of my keyboard, so I have it there just right at an arm's reach at all times, just integrating itself perfectly into my setup. And compatibility-wise, it's only gonna grow as they add more integrations and plugins in the software. And speaking of which, I'll show you iQ real quick. Once powered on, you have the option to use this as just a secondary screen or enable those iQ widgets, which make it act as its own standalone display. Inside iQ, you can change your display background, either like a video or a standard wallpaper, add some blur, which is a nice touch, and then you can pick from the 15 current widgets that I'm showing you in real time, just to give you an idea of some of the things you can do. Some widgets also have the option to be multiple sizes, like small, medium, large, extra large widgets, so you can configure them in a layout and style that works best for you, create multiple pages and swipe between them on the fly for different uses, and for most of the widgets you can also customize the style, like the text color, the accent color, even the transparency. So there's a lot you can do in terms of the actual layout, and that's just with their day one widgets and compatibility. I say that because they are going to add more widgets in the future, like a calendar or keeping an eye on stocks and weather, or all things that I saw that they showed back at CES, which aren't currently available right now, but they said it's going to be available soon, and maybe even by the time this video is uploaded. Now, like I said, if you don't want to use the widgets, you can disable all that, and it'll just act as like a ordinary secondary monitor that's plugged to your PC. And why that's pretty cool, and why some people may just want to do that, is because this can now work entirely as a massive Elgato Stream Deck with their virtual Stream Deck, or the VSD. I did a video on the VSD for an episode of June's Cool Tech Under 50, and since Elgato and CORSAIR are part of the same company, this fully unlocks the VSD compatibility, so you can create any set of macros, functions, any real Stream Deck use case can now be integrated into that Edge's touchscreen and configured to be anything you want. I personally think the whole VSD use case is going to be a game changer, because now you're essentially creating your own widgets that can launch and do whatever you want. So the fact you have all that customization and flexibility really makes this the ultimate desktop companion. It also has a really good auto rotation, where it immediately recognizes when it's vertical and will flip the orientation for you in the exact layout that you had the widget set up. I appreciate that actually works well, and if you have the means to mount this on the side of your monitor, you can, which is going to be great for endless doom scrolling if you're browsing social media, TikTok, Instagram, whatever, or as a massive window for your Twitch chat or stream chat. It's a really impressive desktop gadget that, as you can see, is nice and slim and compact for it being 14.5 inches. And I've had this for a few weeks now, and I do want to spend some time with it before I drop my dedicated review, because it's not perfect, but it's still very early on. Nothing to really harp on, no massive cons, which is why I like it enough to still show it off to you guys today as an integration into my favorite tech stuff. But I am going to be dropping a dedicated review on this soon. I think for the price of $250, that's also more than fair. I was pricing a lot of the AliExpress ultra-wide compact touchscreen monitors like that, and they're around this price still, but without all that widget tie-in, all the extra functionality you get with the iQ tie-in. So I think it's more than fair. And then lastly, something I've been using that's made recording audio and voiceovers or even live streaming so much easier is with this Lewitt CONNECT 2. A touchpad audio interface that is easily controllable, has built-in EQ, and really just takes that whole extra step of needing to record to an SD, then go to my PC. Completely out of the equation now. I can record VO right as I'm editing, adjust everything on the fly, and the way it's designed with the touchpad there, and the fact that it's all flat, just makes everything so much easier. It might sound like a stupid minor thing, but the fact the controls are all flat is a good ergonomic choice, because with other audio interfaces where it's on the top or on the front, I always feel like I'm pushing it away during use. This just fits in now with my other peripherals. It gets plugged into my PC with the USB-C cable on the back, has 48-volt phantom power to power my microphone, and you have some other inputs and outputs for instruments if you want to use this with speakers. It's really versatile. One useful feature, instead of manually monitoring my audio levels as I'm going, is this will listen to your vocal cadence and volume and adjust the audio levels accordingly, as the LEDs are going to reflect your recording volume, so you can always get an idea of where you're at, whether you want it just done automatically hands off, or just by the quick swipe of your finger, as it's really responsive. I was initially worried with the soft touch rubber or silicone-like surface it has to the body that the touch controls may be sluggish, but it feels great and I haven't had any issues. Now, for this video, in the last like 2-3 months of videos on the channel, I've been using this as my audio interface for recording my voiceovers and doing just the audio work on the channel. And it sounds really good. The preamps here are so clean and full. I think it sounds great. But again, just the overall use of having that flat touchpad here makes controlling everything simple. So like I said, everything is done just with a quick swipe of your finger or the touch of a button. And as you can see, it lights up, shows you everything real time. If I wanted to have this connected to speakers, I would just press the speaker button and then I would be monitoring via speakers, or if I had headphones locked in, I can do it right there. So I'm just recording audio, it shows I have the microphone's illuminated and it goes right through, all done through this. Another thing I wanted to point out was this is just the stock, sort of clean audio setting, but there's a little smart button on the bottom you can configure to be really anything you want inside the software. So I have it set to be their different EQs. This, as I said, was clean. If I touch it again, it'll go to the warm sound signature. So a little bit more bass and body to it overall. And then this is now the Vivid, which has a little bit more sparkle. But since it has a built-in compressor and a denoiser, I just keep it on the stock clean setting. There's even like a built-in clip guard where if I were to get really loud and pissed off during a stream, it wouldn't clip. It would keep it controlled, still really clean sounding. It's just very, very impressive. I know this is the quick integration to show you guys, but you hear it. It sounds really good. It's been sounding really good. I love the natural integration it has with my workflow, makes everything easier. I know it sounds really dumb, but the fact it's flat is just, it's the reason why I bought it. This also right around $200, really good price for this. That's the same price of a lot of other, mid-tier audio interfaces. So the fact this one is a really, really reputable company in the audio space and sounds this good for that price made it a no-brainer for me to pick up, and I've been loving it. So guys, that'll wrap it up for my video on some of my favorite tech gadgets. Hope you all enjoyed. Hope you found this video useful and a nice change up from having the limitations of a price point. So just my favorite tech that I've been using that I love. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up, show your support. Feel free to follow me on all socials at randomfrankp. And last, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I'm randomfrankp. Have a good day.